Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to another week of Pastors Chat with Coley and Tonks.
It's great. It's great to be here again.
Had a good week?
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Excellent.
Good. Yeah. No complaints.
No?
Yeah.
School holiday time.
Yeah, it is, which is pretty good. Means there's a few less things happening. Means we're gearing up for term 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Term 3, Adventure Club's coming back.
we hope
groups
so.
are back into
Yep,
it all.
That's it. Doing what we can.
Yeah.
But we thought with today, because obviously, unfortunately, church isn't coming back yet. Still a while. So it gives us an opportunity, though. We need to talk about streaming.
Yeah,
Something
a lot of people are asking, aren't they?
Oh, lots.
When's church
Every time I
coming
see
back
someone,
and what's going on with the streaming?
every time I bump into someone at the supermarket,
Yes.
comes in, and you get excited because you haven't seen that person for a while.
Yep.
But they always ask, well, when are we back? And unfortunately,
lots of pastoral care in the spreads aisle or the toilet paper aisle.
yeah, and it is tricky. Like, I know many friends in South Australia are starting to come back to church, but
Yes.
we're not in that position. So we'd like to talk to you about streaming, what our streaming's been like, and what it is going forward, so that you can hopefully help know everything that's happening there.
It's probably fair to begin at the beginning, because this wasn't something that we really chose to do. We weren't thinking, hey, let's begin online ministry or anything like that. I kind of always felt that was your Grishels and your Andy Stanleys, these big mega churches that are filming and broadcasting all the way around the world. And I never thought that was us, but we were kind of forced into this because we had no choice. It was either stream online or have nothing.
That's it. Remember, we just got back from youth camp. We're lucky we squeezed that in. And it was that Tuesday night, I think, we had to have a meeting about not having church on Sunday.
That's
and
right, yeah.
If you had told me that 14 services later we still weren't having church on Sunday,
14
crazy.
weeks we've been doing this.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So March 22nd was our very first streaming.
right.
And I'll never forget that, because I was in Ballarat celebrating my 50th birthday party with my family. Again, I just snuck that in before the major restrictions. So you were kind of left a little bit on your own here to
That's right, I remember that. It feels like an
scramble.
eternity ago now.
So how did you feel that very first Sunday, so Sunday, March 22nd, preaching to a camera, an empty chapel, for the very first time? How'd you feel?
It was different. It was really different. It was sort of felt like you were getting ready for a show, like you're actually performing, like back in drama class at school or something. Because you've got no rooms. You have to start looking in one spot around the room, which is different as a preacher as well. You don't get that good nods around the room as well, and you can at least tell that people are listening.
No Sandy Thomas to laugh at your jokes?
No, well, he was there at the first service, so my jokes still got laughed at, which was really good. So he was on communion that day. Yeah, so we should just get him to come in every day and just laugh at ours. But it was different. It was a challenge. I remember thinking before we ever did it that preaching on camera would probably be easier than preaching to a room. Where now I think it's the other way around. Much prefer preaching to a room than
Did you
preaching
feel
to a
nervous,
camera.
apprehensive?
A little bit at the start, perhaps. Just once you get going, you don't think about it. But now, probably, and as you get used to it, not so. But there was definitely a few more nerves there. Most of your nerves come you got to have a lot of faith in the operators of technology.
Oh, yeah.
You do on a normal Sunday when they're on sound and stuff, but nowhere near as much, because you can hear if the technology's working.
Yeah.
When you're going live, you have to put all your faith into the tech guys, because if you're not coming through, you don't know. You just have to know that's happening, and you just have to know there's people watching it as well. I remember getting up there and I'm like, is anyone really going to be watching this? Is this something people are going to jump on board with?
We had no idea, did we?
No clue at all.
And yet, I think currently, that very first week, so you can get bragging rights on this. I think it's around 1,200 views.
It's got the most views. Yeah, I think new and fresh ideas and all that sort of stuff helps. But I know that the following week, obviously, it was my turn. Yeah.
I don't mean this in an arrogant way, but I've never felt nervous preaching in years and years and years. I just go, it's what I do. We do it nearly every week, and you get used to preaching. So, but man, that first,
just different.
I reckon maybe the first 6 that I had to do, I was so nervous and I was overthinking everything. So in my head, I've shared this with a few people, if I stumbled over a word or I said a word wrong, no one probably even noticed, but in my head, it was like, 1,000 decibels, just kept repeating and had to almost force myself to ignore it.
I do feel like you're more on show than usual. Like you feel like you just like a big show or something. So you get more nervous, you get more,
So what do you think apart from that, what are some of the other biggest challenges we faced with streaming and doing everything on YouTube?
Some of our biggest challenges were getting an audience, which we already had a lot of great members at church, but getting them plugged in. So the first couple of weeks, for me, it was a lot about helping older people, getting people connected, showing people how to do it, making sure people knew how to actually access YouTube. Because our young people obviously know how to access YouTube, but there's quite a lot of people that didn't. So that was a challenge. Our technology was a challenge, and I didn't know how much stuff you really needed. Like, looking back, I probably thought we had just about everything we needed that first week before we started. Now I look back at what we made do with the service for that first week, and we've got so much extra stuff now. And I wonder, how do we get by without the lighting, without some of the extra tech stuff we've got, without cards for the sound desk, without particular style of cameras? So many things. It's a whole new world.
Absolutely. You're kind of not really sure. Just one little camera. That's all you need.
That's right. But no. What about you? What do you think with all that? What are some of your challenges?
I know that the challenges for me would have been enormous if it wasn't for you and Clinton. So I kind of feel like the challenges for me have been minimal in the sense that we've had you and Clinton that have been able to really take hold of this and champion it. Because if I was here on my own as the only minister and you and Clinton went around, it would have been my cruddy Samsung phone copy, not even a real Samsung, and the quality just would have been very, very poor. I'm sure others, Brenda Moritz and others would have stepped up, I'm sure. But I think because you've taken so much of that responsibility and Clinton's really taken, particularly that background research into the equipment and things, it's taken the challenges from me. And I'll always be eternally grateful.
You see some pastors, I've seen them, and they I'd love to bring them up and help them sometimes, because the stuff that it is literally people on their phones. It's people getting even just bad angles and little things, but they're just making do with what they've got. But it's helped us tremendously having people that are young and people that know about technology, which has been great.
Well, we've certainly learned a lot, haven't we?
Oh, we've learned so much.
We've learned a lot. Learn from our mistakes. Learn by observing others. I know that Mildura Church, we've got a great relationship with Mildura Church down in Geelong with Rick and Leonie Wright, and I know that Clinton and yourself have been able to ring their tech guys, get advice on the way they do stuff. Sometimes just by watching some of our favourite, the other week in Pastor's Chat, we shared our favourite preachers.
We have. I've never watched so much YouTube than I have in the last 3 months, and it's a bit of a disease. Every time I watch it now, I just want to get another idea. Or I think, why don't we do it like that? Critical eye. Yeah, I probably don't take much of the content in. I just watch the making and the behind the scenes, which is.
I think one of the things we've learned was keeping it shorter.
Yeah, length.
So
very big.
Before all this, our regular service would be about an hour and 10.
Yeah,
that's how we started that, didn't we?
Our Oasis Sunday service was it was 1 hour and 22 minutes. Which wouldn't be bad if you're at church. Like, I know that'd be probably a touch longer, but Easter's often like that. But now, when we can tell when people are tuning in and tuning out with all the extra data we get, and people turn off, they don't watch that long of a video.
So our services now are cut to about 40 to 45
we go around
minutes.
the 40 to 45 minute mark.
Feeling that's more appropriate. We've cut the amount of songs.
We have.
Down to sometimes just 2.
Sometimes just 2 songs, which is, it feels like, I reckon if we only sung 2 songs when you're at church, people would be a bit like, oh, that's a shame. But again, it's a different experience.
That's right. And that's something I'd say comment. The songs, a lot of the songs that we've been doing are fairly new. And I've got to admit, I didn't like some of them. And when you're in church on a normal Sunday and you kind of feel a little bit forced, I've got to try to learn this song, I've got to try to sing this song, and I haven't liked them. But sitting on the couch, watching, and just sometimes just closing my eyes and taking that song in, it's actually helped me enjoy those newer songs far, far more than, as I said, when I was almost trying to force myself to sing them.
Now, I find the songs a completely different experience. It's more a prayerful experience than it's still a type of worship, definitely, but it's not like a corporate singing style quite in the same way. I find that's the hardest. That'll be my favourite thing when church goes back, is singing the songs with the congregation.
It will be good.
But for a lot of it's still a great experience listening, but it's probably more about the words in some ways. It always is about the words, but it's different the way you listen and the way you take it in.
I think I've been able to reflect on the words and just that nice melody. Rather than me having to learn.
It's probably more like when you do sit down during a song at church as opposed to standing up and singing. However, my wife watches it with her friends sometimes, and they all sing together when the songs are on. So that's one way to engage with it as well, I think. But
I do sing, but then I usually get told by Chloe and Coley, shh.
No, I don't. I don't sing. I I don't know. Yeah, I'll sing it after the service, and the songs will be stuck in my head more than when I usually go to church. But
we've learned a bit more about lighting.
Very much.
Angles.
Lighting's huge, actually. But lighting, I thought we could get by, and I didn't know what types of lights help work. And the amount of different lights we've had to get have been
funny
crazy.
Look back at those first 2 or 3 weeks. We were very orange in our face from the lighting we had, or it was very dark. There was one service there where we were very, very blue. Just as we were learning about
learning about colours and everything we've got's for a certain type of light, and we need other lights, and it's crazy.
I had someone tell me I looked like Donald Trump. Just how orange I looked.
Oh, well, actually, you wouldn't have noticed. So my river sermon, which I think we're talking about later, I had to actually get Elise to put some makeup on me for that one. You'll find funny because our new camera. We bought a new camera, and it highlights every tiny little thing on your face. And I had 2 whoppers of pimples down here. And you'll notice if you go back to the week before, whatever that week was, I was on announcements, and you can see this huge pimple on the bottom of my neck, and the camera just highlights it incredibly. Where I'd never even consider doing that. That's a secret though, so don't tell anyone else that I use that. But it's crazy the things that get picked up.
And I've learned that the camera adds 10 pounds.
Does it?
It definitely does.
I hope so.
Definitely does.
So there's so much content we can talk about here. We could just go on and on, but I think
it's a big thing.
That's it. So we'll keep talking about this. This is going to be a 2-part pastors chat.
2-part.
That's right. So thanks for joining us as we start talking about our pastors chat and talking about our online streaming. And make sure you catch it. We're going to release this one tomorrow, so you make sure you catch the second part of this conversation.
All right then.